Chance Beck, how you doing, man?
Hey.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for taking your time to come on here. And first off, I know it's your first time being on Empire Universe Media, so welcome, man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. First, I gotta ask, how are you feeling? And have you started fight camp yet?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Basically, I haven't been out of fight camp because I've been fighting pretty consistently. So, yeah, I just fought on April 16th, and then it was the next day they offered me this fight on May 14th. So, yeah, took that. Didn't really think about it.
Well, looking at all the fights you've had, you've been fighting quite consistently a lot. What was the reason for them offering you a fight so quickly?
They know I won't turn it down, and they know I like to fight. I try to fight every month if I can.
It's almost like that employee that always will take that shit that they call you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just cover them.
Yeah, so I do want to touch upon your next fight, but I do want to ask, whereabouts are you at the moment?
Currently, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, what's the weather like over there at the moment?
It's about 80 degrees, sunny. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I was gonna ask is because well, in Canada everything's different, everything's backwards, right? So it's like 26 degrees Celsius over here, and it's just beautiful. So not normal at this time of the year over here in Canada.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess that being said, like I said, it's your first time on the show. So I just want to kind of get to know you. Like, what's your story and what kind of prompted your decision to pursue a career in combat sports?
Well, I started out training martial arts when I was about 12, Taekwondo. I was competing in WCF style Taekwondo, which is Olympic style martial art. Training to go to the Olympics when I was 16. Kind of got a setback on that. My cousin, who was one of my instructors, who adopted me when I was younger, he got sent off to the military. His birthday's not on 9/11, so he kind of took that whole 9/11 thing as a sign to go join, and he did. And then I accidentally rented a UFC tape. I was trying to rent a Jet Li movie, and the UFC tape was in the sleeve back when we still had VHSs at the rental store. So watching that first UFC, I was like, I think I want to do this. And that was it. I just started trying to teach myself jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai until I found a gym where I could train in those disciplines. And I got in with Renzo Gracie Atlanta, with Paul Creighton back in 2007. Started with him, trained there for about 10 years. I had my first fight with him in '07. I went 6-0 as an amateur, and then I turned pro in 2011. Had my second pro fight in 2012. Then I had a long layoff. And I was kind of away from it for a while, just work and life, and I had a daughter. And then 2020, August 2020, I moved out to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and there wasn't a lot to do out there. So I was like, maybe I'll find a gym and just get back into jiu-jitsu at least. And I was probably there about 4 weeks, and they offered me a fight on 4 days' notice up in Iowa. And I took it, and I was like, I'll go see if I still got it. So went up there, won. I banged out another 3 wins real quick, got a professional title for B2. Then I had a bad camp, a couple of injuries. I fought Adam Asenza last July. Fell to him in the 5th round of that fight. It was a pretty tough fight. He definitely out-wrestled and out-grappled me in that one. And then I fought again right after that. Took another loss, came back, moved up to welterweight, which I normally fight at 145. So I moved up to welterweight, fought Kenny Gerdeau, won that one by knockout, fought Sean Fallon, lost to a dark choke. And then I just fought Clarence Brown at welterweight again in Iowa last weekend and won that one by first round sub. So now we're back at 155 fighting Juan Roman.
Well, you're kind of in the bit of the mix there. So when you went up to welterweight, did you feel like the guys were too big for you, or do you feel like you didn't have to deal with a weight cut? How did you feel in that?
Well, yeah, I definitely didn't have to deal with weight cut. I'm weighing in with pants on about 168, 169 when I'm eating everything in sight. I'm 6 foot tall, but I don't carry a lot of weight. I usually walk around about 165, and that's on eating about 4 meals a day. Like I was eating about 6 or 7 times a day just to try to get up over 170. So I kind of would have to cut a little bit, and I still didn't have to. I felt good. I felt faster than those guys. The first welterweight I fought, he was 6'4". He told me he got in the cage at 202 that night. I weighed 171 when I got in the cage. So, but I knocked him out. Like, I still hit hard. I've got knockouts at 45, 55 and welterweight now. So it's kind of made it hard for me to get fights back down to these lower weight classes because now these guys are turning me down a lot. But Juan stepped up, and he's a tough opponent, and I look forward to fighting him in the next three weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I do want to touch upon it. But you talked about going up and down weight classes. It is typical for a lot of those fighters to kind of go up and down and holding weight and losing weight. When you went down to 145 and then trying to go at welterweight, did you find that do you feel that was your issue? Is that because of cutting weight for so long, you were having a hard time holding the weight at welterweight?
No, when I started competing as an amateur, I was walking around like 147. So back then it was like, when you first come into fighting and you don't really know weight classes, I guess, unless you like wrestled and stuff, then you understand it. But I just thought that's what I would fight at because that's what I walked around at. So, I fought my first 9 fights at featherweight. But throughout the time from my first amateur fight up until probably about my third or fourth, I started putting on muscle, and I started getting to where I was walking closer to 170. So then I was actually having to do cuts, and I think my biggest cut was like 28 pounds in 6 days. So I definitely am comfortable at 55 because I don't have to cut so much. I'm usually within about on weigh-in day at the time it is to go in the sauna and cut. I'm usually about 2 to 5 pounds out, and that's really easy. 45, I haven't fought at 45 since 2012, but we're going back down there after this next fight with Juan Roman. I'm dropping back down to 45. Regardless, win or lose, we're still going to 45. But like last Monday after this fight, I was back down to 162. So I don't think it's going to be hard to get back down there at all.
For sure. Now I do want to kind of move on to your fight here. May 14th, you got a tough guy ahead of you. Looking at this fight, you just submitted Clarence Brown. Obviously you talked about, they're offering you fights because they know you'll take them. But does that also kind of display the kind of athlete you are? You're putting your heart and soul into the sport.
Yeah, it's mainly I was supposed to fight Nathan Williams back in my hometown in Atlanta on May 7th. He pulled out, said he's retiring. I don't know why. He just fought in PFL. He's a really top level guy, and it was another big test for me, and I was ready for it. I've switched camps since I had lost to Asenza. I'm at it's a full-time fight gym now, where the coaches, that's their job. They don't have day jobs. So that's what they do. So I got a lot of bodies in there, a lot of training partners, and I got dietitians. I got strength coaches. I got jiu-jitsu coach, Muay Thai coach, boxing coach. Like, I got everything you need to actually be relevant in this sport, I believe. But yeah, so now I'm just staying ready because it's like hard. It sucks focusing on one guy and going through fight camp and then them backing out. So now it's just staying in there and staying ready as much as I can. And that way, when they do have an offer on somebody who's actually going to stick to their word and sign that contract, then we'll fight. And I'm not sitting there like, no, I can't take it because I'm out of shape.
And with your fight with Clarence Brown, I understand, you pretty much got out of that fight unscathed. You submitted him in the first round. But that being said, what's the secret to you taking all these fights so quickly and just taking them? I mean, not many fighters fight that many times in that short amount of period.
Yeah, I just want to fight. I'm 35 now. I'll be 36 in September. So, I told myself as long as I stay, I've never been hurt. I've never had an injury. So as long as I stay healthy, I'm planning on retiring when I'm 40, and just focusing on coaching. So I'm giving myself about I'm about 4.5 years out from 40, and then I'll be done. But yeah, I'm just trying to fit as many as I can in that little small frame of time, trying to make up for the years I wasn't fighting.
Well, I mean, definitely time doesn't go backwards, my friend.
Nope.
Juan Roman, this guy, did you know much about him when you signed the contract?
I know he's a striker. I know he comes out to fight. I know he's usually in good shape. He's solid. I know I think he trains out of Rufus Sport or with the Koch brothers, Eric Koch and them. So he's got a good camp behind him. Yeah, that's about all I knew. I knew he fought Aaron Mitchell, and he decisioned over Aaron Mitchell. And me and Aaron Mitchell have been signed to fight twice. He's just declined it both times. But then he'll fight other people. Like he fought one of my teammates, and I think my teammate won that fight by decision. It was very close. Fought Randy Jones, and kind of a little chip on my shoulder. I kind of want to get back at him for beating my teammate. So I've been matched with him twice, and he won't accept it. So they threw me Juan's name, and I was like, yeah, I'll fight Roman just because he's beat Mitchell. But Mitchell somehow got ranked number 1 at lightweight in B2 fighting series because I was their champ before Adam beat me, and I dropped to, number 1 contender. And then Lutchen and Aaron Mitchell got past me when I moved up to welterweight because none of these guys have been as active as I am. So I guess I don't know if that plays a part or not, but so now me and Juan are ranked 3 and 4 in their rankings. So I'm really just trying to work my way back up that ladder and get back to my belt.
Yeah. In looking at your opponent, now there's fighters that I've talked to about watching fight tape and how some don't believe in it because it can give you a false representation of, they show just their highlights. They don't show the things that are leading up to their finishes. Do you believe in watching fight tape?
Well, I got my head coach, Ben Fowler. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's also a pro fighter. He's been in this game just about as long as I have. He's a little younger than me, but he's really smart. Like he's got a couple of degrees. Like, I don't know. He's just really smart. So I'll leave it all to him. He watches all the tape. He breaks it down. He comes in, runs me through drills. And I just follow along and do what I'm told in the gym. I don't really do none of the watching myself.
Excellent. And break down this fight for me. I mean, why is Chance Beck going to be victorious in this bout?
Well, again, him and Aaron Mitchell, their fight went a decision. Juan's a decent striker. Aaron Mitchell's a decent striker. I'm an elite striker. But I'm pretty good on the ground. My wrestling's better than Aaron Mitchell's. Aaron Mitchell was able to take Juan down, and Juan just kind of accepted the positions when he would get taken down. He didn't really fight to stay off the ground or get his back up. So he also seems to lose a little gas at the end of the second, into the third rounds. And I finished every one of my fights. This guy ain't going to be no different. I'm going to go in there with the same mindset. Kill or be killed. That's what I do. We're going in there with the game plan to tear them up, get them tired, and then finish them.
And prediction?
I see a TKO late in the second, early in the third.
Awesome. And one thing I wanted to bring up, I wanted to bring it up earlier. Looking on your social media, you shared something, and it's a big subject. I think is starting to really become in the MMA community. It was a video of these two guys are fighting in like a phone booth or something like that. I don't know if it was like a sanctioned thing, but you're starting to really see a lot of these sanctioned organizations. I don't know, you've seen the Pillow Fighting or championship, and a lot of these guys are doing the slap championship. There's guys that are got the gloves on and they're holding on to a post and hitting at each other, trying to kick at each other. What are your thoughts about it? Like, as much as, you know, MMA has come so far, and I think big organizations like UFC, Bellator have really laid the roadmap for a lot of these organizations to come up and do great things. But what are your thoughts about all these little promotions doing different things like that? Do you feel like that's kind of ruining the image of MMA?
I don't think it's ruining it. It's kind of just it's a joke, but people are just trying to make money, you know? So it's like, let them do what they do. But don't get it confused with being able to walk into that cage and fight a professional MMA fighter. Like, that's actually training at an elite level. Like, it's not going to work. Just stay in your lane and do what you're doing and make your money and leave us alone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And you know, May 14th, say you beat this guy. I mean, what's next for Chance Beck? I mean, I know you like to stay active. So, you know, this is May and, you know, you still have like 8 more months to go. So what's 2022 look like for you?
I'd like to have at least 4 more fights this year, but a win over Roman put me back in the running to get picked up by a bigger show, especially a finish. I was already in talks with UFC and Bellator when me and Asenza fought. I was told to just kind of sit on the shelf and wait because I was going to get a call, and I was like, I don't want to do that. You know, hindsight's 2020. But yeah, it's either I'll get picked up by a big show or I'll give it a month and I'll take another fight.
Yeah, like I wanted to ask, does the Contender Series is that something that might interest you?
Yeah, any either PFL or UFC Contender Series, I'd jump on either one of those opportunities. I'm a big believer you miss 100% of the opportunities you don't take. So if you believe in yourself and your skill set and you're training right and you believe in your coaches and your team, there's no reason you shouldn't take any fight they offer you.
Yeah, and let's say, you know, they have a short notice fight. Would you still take a fight? Like, would you still gamble on taking a fight like that?
Yeah, especially if it was a bigger promotion. I would if they needed a short notice fill in for a tough opponent, I would hope I could negotiate at least maybe a 3-fight deal with them, and then I would take it. I'd fight anybody. I'd move up to welterweight. I'd fight Chimaev if they offered me a 3-fight deal.
Well, and I think the idea is that even if you lose a fight and you're showing that you can hang in with the best of the best, you know, I think the UFC or, you know, Bellator, whoever you fill in for can kind of see, okay, let's give this guy the contract, give him a proper fight, give him a proper camp. Let's see what he can do. And I think that'd be a great opportunity for you. I think you have great things going for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
And Chance, I just want to say again, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you taking your time again. And I'm glad that we were able to work out something here. And I'd love to have you back on next time you have a fight, eh?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'll touch base with you after this May 14th fight and see where we're at.